Yeah, that's my company hat, don't ask. See, I'm ginger, okay, and I burn really easily, and my forehead, I got burnt badly one summer, so I need to shield my eyes because they're blue, and keep keep the sun off my forehead, because I'm like really peely wally white. Look, that is not a good look. It glares. Anyway, I'm going to turn you around just so you can have a little look at where we are. So we are in Sir John's Square. Oh, look at this. These flowers, beautiful. Now, Thurso, the population is about just under 8,000, I think. Basically, Thurso was an important Norse port, and then later, with ports throughout Northern Europe, it traded, so it was a good trading route. There was a thriving fishing community, and Thurso also had tanning and linen. Now, originally it was known by its Celtic name, Tarvo Dubron, meaning bull water or bull river. And the history of Thurso stretches back to the Norse era of the Norse Orcadian rule. So when Orkney was ruled, and then eventually that concluded, it was ruled by the Norse, and then it concluded 1266. Sorry, the sun is right behind the church, so we're not quite getting the view I had wanted, but whilst we're here, I'm just going to quickly let you have a little look at this garden, and then I'll take you across. Neolithic horned cairns were found nearby, so quite close to us here, at Shebster Hill, and these were used for burials, rituals, and they date back about 5,000 years. Isn't that just a beautiful place to sit and relax? Now, I'm just going to turn you around a little bit, let you see. It is just so beautiful tonight. And actually, if I come over here, you'll get the statues as well. We are going to see the garden again. I'm just going to bring you around. Actually, what I think I'll do is I'm going to walk out and round, just a little bit round, so I can show you the church, and hopefully not have so much sun on it. So this is a memorial here, just as we are. So I think if I go over to the corner, just over here, and then I'll actually, there. Right, sorry for the jerky movement, it's just I've hidden the sun behind a tree. Now, I'm going to do an Adam shot. Are you ready for this? 3, 2, 1. There you go. There. Okay, and then I'll put it back up. 3, 2, 1. That should go back up again. It's just so you could get it in. Now, St. Peter's and St. Andrew's Church. This church is, it was built to a design of William Byrne in 1820. It took about 2 years to build. Actually, see if I come over here. Right, I'm going to do the Adam shot again for you. Right, 1, 2, 3. There, oh, that's much better. Right, we'll let that stand for a second. And this is actually a simplified version of the Church of St. John the Evangelist in Princes Street in Edinburgh. So we actually have a much bigger version of this in Princes Street, and I will be doing a Newtown tour, a couple of Newtown tours that I'm putting on, so we'll have a look at that as well. There. Sorry, I brought that back round without actually saying I was going to do it. I hope I haven't made anybody feel sick. Right, now St. John's Square where we are, and I'm just going to take us back through the gardens and walk down out the other gate. Hopefully it's open, I forgot to check. Now it's named after Sir John Sinclair. So we're going to Castle Sinclair tomorrow, remember? Now, when Sir John extended Thurso, he laid out the streets in a grid pattern. So, Edinburgh's Georgian Newtown, kind of similar idea. With white, the grid pattern he laid out, wide parallel streets with houses and gardens. This is just gorgeous. I love this garden. The flowers are beautiful. Sorry, I'm just going to sidetrack to show you these. Look at them, aren't they gorgeous? They're stunning. It may not be the sunniest of days, but the flowers are looking beautiful. Right. So Now, the streets, they had gardens to the rear. Now, the old story is, right, that it is believed that New York, when it was rebuilt, was said to have been followed the pattern of Sir John Sinclair's Streets of Thurso plan. So this is the back of him. So this is the statue of him. So Sir John Square is one of the first sights you see when you come into Thurso. Oh, I've just realised I've photobombed somebody. Oh, now the town's war memorial stands in front of the statue. So I'm just going to come round. Hopefully that gate is open. So that's the back of the war memorial, but I'll just turn round and let you hopefully see his statue. Oh, the sun's... It might be quite difficult because the sun is actually... If I come over this way a bit, how's that? Is that worse or better? Well, it's silhouette, I suppose. It's pretty still. There you go. Sorry, it's just the way the light is tonight that I can't really dictate what the sun is doing. Oh, look at the flowers in the saltire shape. That's fantastic. Isn't that brilliant? The way they're laid out. Right, that's great. And then if we come back, oh, can't quite fit it all in, but there you go. You've got the statue and the church just there. Right. Now to check this gate is open. This is when it all goes horribly wrong. Nope, the gate is open. Fantastic. Right, and the good thing about coming out this gate, if I can get it to shut again, sorry. Right. So here in Thurso, there's these lovely Thurso Historic Walk plaques. As you can see here, there's a map showing you where we are. Then it tells you a little bit about the square and Sir George's Fountain, which is right at the top. Then we've got the War Memorial and the church. So it's quite a good one. But actually, if I come down the way and right, 3, 2, 1. For those of you who like to take pictures of the plaques, there you go. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Oh, there we go. There we are. Right. Now we're just going to try and get ourselves across the road, but I will see if I can get you a look at the War Memorial. It's beautiful. Again, it's the sun's causing us a bit of an issue, so it's not quite as spectacular as I'd hoped, but the flowers are gorgeous. Right, so we are just going to cross the road. There's a green man just ahead of us here, and then I'll just have a wee wander. Right, just bear with me while I get across the road. Nobody wants to see the tour guide getting squashed. Right, there we are. Oh man, there's so many places shut at the moment. It's really sad, but Thurso tourism in this area is no pancake Sam, no, definitely not. Tourism in this area is really important, and because of COVID and lockdown, you can see there's lots of places that haven't reopened, and because we've left the EU, we no longer have the supply. We've no longer got the supply of summer workers. You know, we used to get lots of people from the European Union coming over and working for the summer and then going back to university or whatever, and we don't have that now, so it's quite difficult. And I'm just going to show you this really fancy drain pipe. Look how fancy that is. If you look right at the top, it's really elaborate compared to the ones next door, which are just your bog standard, downpipe. Not sure where the music's coming from. Okay, there you go. Somewhere that is open, the Newmarket Bar, and it's live music on a Friday, Saturday and Sunday. It is such a shame, but you know what? The skill involved in making a lot of these things, people don't want to be apprentices for 5 years, you know? It's like Historic Scotland or Historic Environment Scotland. They look after a lot of the castles in Scotland, and they train stonemasons to be able to replace rock, the stonework of the castles. And the trouble is, as soon as they've trained them, the apprentices, once they're qualified, they leave and get jobs that are better paid. So they're spending all that money on training and never really getting a return for it. Now, this is the well. I'm just going to show you this little building. Now, hopefully we can see. Is it lit up? Yes, it is. Right. Trying to get me out of the picture and you, so that you can see parts of the well. It's really hard because I'm going through glass. Oh, there. No. And can you see the hole down? Ah, gimbal, no. There, so you can see the top of it. It's the best I can do. Sorry, I'll show you a picture around here actually. So here's another one of these lovely Thurso walk plaques. Okay, and just here you can see the Meadow Well. You can actually see it. And for hundreds of years, this was Thurso's main water supply. The pump that you see today, the one that we looked at there, was installed in the 1850s and was used up to the 1920s. And the Meadow Well was always one of the various sites where the fisherwomen would congregate to sell their fish and obviously catch the latest gossip. So those two ladies there are two fishwives. They always had like over skirts, like aprons to protect the skirts underneath from the things that would drip out the creel and all that kind of thing, the water that would come off the baskets. So I love this stagecoach. It looks really cool, but no, not for me. You keep getting distorted audio. Is everyone else okay? I know, the horses, what a shame. Could you try refreshing your if you refresh your browser for me, that might help. Now, the North Coast 500 is a route that was basically, it was to help this area, this region, because they weren't getting so many, I know the smell of fish, you would have to be used to it, visitors as everywhere else. People don't really realise that Sutherland, Caithness and everything, there's beautiful parts to it. But everyone just kind of sticks with the Central Highlands or Inverness, Oban, that kind of thing in the islands. But up here we've got some beautiful scenery and lots of history as well. So the North Coast 500 route is a 516-mile long scenic route around the north coast of Scotland, starting and ending at Inverness Castle. The route is also known as the NC 500, and it was launched in 2015. Now it links many of the little villages and things that you know people tended not to realise were worth exploring. It's actually, the North Coast 500 is amazing. You drive up on this side, so we're Caithness, and it's quite flat. Okay. No, I tried before we started to get it turned on and I couldn't get it on, so I'm going to have to contact them and find out how to do it, what's going wrong, why it's not going on. But yeah, so Thurso, if you look at a map of Scotland, go right to the very top, and then just in from the edge, that's Thurso, at the very, very top of Scotland. Now, the route increased visitors to many parts of the north of Scotland, and that's brought, as you can imagine, lots of financial benefits to the area. But the problem is that we've now had COVID, and as you can see when we're walking past, lots of the hotels, restaurants, shops even, are shut because of it. Now, the increased traffic, taking COVID out of the way, led to more instances of bad and dangerous driving, because we drive on the left-hand side and lots of visitors drive on the right, and our roads are very narrow and can be quite windy, and these things have a bit of an environmental impact, as well as obviously the damage to people. Oops, yeah, a second, just let this car go by. There we are. Ooh. Now, working clockwise round the route, it starts in Inverness, goes via the Bureau of Ord. Glenord Distillery is beautiful, by the way. It's a really nice whisky. Well, I like it. It's quite sweet. Applecross, the Bealachnaba Pass, Gairloch, Ullapool, Skourie, Durness, Castlemaine, Thurso, John O'Groats, Wick, Dunrobin, Dingwall, then Muir of Ord again, and then back to Inverness. So it is a really lovely circular route. So if you fancy trying something different, if you've been to Scotland before, it's quite a nice, relaxed route. But plan your accommodation well in advance. There's another bench ahead of us. We can have a look at that one rather than going back the way, because there we are. So I'm just going to let you look back up the river, because we can see the bridge. The last time I was here, I actually saw an otter. It was really cool. So yeah, I spent ages trying to see it. It's quite a nice reflection there. And it's pretty. Right. Now, the river that we're looking at, as you can see, we've got the river, which is freshwater, coming down, meeting the tide. So we have salt. You can see there's lots of seaweed here. So it's quite salty all the way up under that bridge. Brackish water. Right. It's actually, the river itself is 25 miles long, and it's famous for salmon angling. Apparently Prince Charles is a regular visitor to one of the sections of the river called the Private Beat. There you go, the name tells you everything you need to know. Now, fishing on the river can yield large catches. It's slow moving, so it's almost like canal type speed. Canals don't really flow that fast or move that fast. Fishing season is January to October, just in case anybody is looking to go fishing and happens to be up here. And it must be fly fishing. There's lots of other places you can fish as well. There's places you can buy the permits to fish. Oh, there's a duck having a wash, or is it a seagull? Right. Now, sorry, just bear with me as I'm walking along here, because I'm out of puff. I don't know if you can see it down there. We've got I think we've actually got some young birds. Yeah, a second. See if I can. I'm not very good with birds, to be honest. But yeah, they look like young gulls. The tide's low, yeah, definitely. You can see all the seaweed. The seaweed is. Oh, thank you for that tip, Karen. The seaweed is great, because it always tells you there's salt water. And you can see the tide line, or the watermark, the high water mark. If you look over at the shed, you can see just that line of grass, and then you've got the black. So the water will go up over the grassy bit there sometimes. It just depends on what the weather's doing. But there's one of the benches over here, and I'm just going to head across the grass. Right. Now, these benches are memorial benches, and they're put here for people to rest, take in the views, and remember. So here we've got David Crow, in loving memory, born Stroma, 1940, 70 years a scout, a life that touched others, goes on forever. It's actually quite a nice one. So yeah, and we have a lot of wooden ones as well, so it's, I don't know, it's a nice way, I think, to remember people. It can be quite off-putting sometimes. People don't understand what it is and then they're like, oh, but it's fine. No, the tide is out. That's all that's happening here. The tide's out. When I was coming along from the place I'm staying, the beach was it looked like miles to the water, just because the tide is so far out. Oh. But we're just going to head over here and then pop up and have a look at the old church. It's the River Thurso, sorry. Yes. Yeah. So it's 25 miles long, and it's a salmon river. So we're quite lucky. We've got lots of places you can fish for salmon. But the private beat, I think, must be very expensive, just by the name. And plus, if Prince Charles is using it, I imagine it's well looked after. Right. Okie dokie. Just getting across this road because we're starting to see the castle in the distance here. Ooh. Right. Now, just in the distance, there's some warehouses, and behind it, there's a bit sticking up, and that's all that's left of Thurso Castle. Well, there's other bits to it as well. Oh, look! Hold on. I don't know if you can... Are you seeing that? It's got an engine. Can you hear it? Yes, they've really gone... They've looked after their planters. So, just over the warehouses, just coming into view, you'll see a bit jutting up. That's Thurso Castle at the back there. I'm just going to bring it back down because of a walk with it that zoomed in. It'll make you all feel seasick. So the castle's a 19th century ruin, and it's on the River Thurso, which we're looking kind of back at if we look that way. So this is leading out to the harbour, and you can see that there's been, place for shipping. The walls are all built up. There's been a proper harbour there as well. Now, the current castle dates to 1872. Large parts of it were demolished in 1952, although there has been a fortress on the site since at least the 12th century. Oh, thistles! I'll be able to get you some thistles. Oh, this is so cool. It's been ages. Now, parts of the castle are still inhabited and remains the home of the Viscounts of Thurso. Right. Oh, which thistle to choose? Okay. You're not quite open, but we get the general idea. Maybe if we do this one down here, might get some kind of the sea background to it. There it's in focus. What are we thinking? Beautiful. There. Yeah, seaweed. So seaweed is your clue. Whenever you see seaweed, the sea's not far away because this is salt water. So the fresh water of the river runs in to meet the tidal water of the sea here. And as we look at the boats across the water, you can actually see, oh, look at that reflection, that's stunning. You can see above the boats, you can see the high tide mark. And then you can see the exceptionally high as well. I know, it's such a shame. Thistles are gorgeous. I love thistles, and especially those ones. And I just don't understand. My neighbour, I had a thistle growing outside my kitchen window at the communal drying green part, and he kept, every year he poisoned it. I was like, no, please stop it. I love my thistle. So we kind of got a boat graveyard going on here. Well, So here, and then look at this one. It's definitely past its best. I'm not thinking that's going back on the water anytime soon. I just love the roses growing underneath it. It's like a little garden. Isn't that gorgeous? Right. Now, I'm going over time a little bit, so if you can bear with me, that would really be appreciated. We're coming to have a look at the church. About 15 minutes max, I promise. Oh, you just need to give me a minute while I get up the hill. There we are. So this is, yeah. Inside, in one of the bits under the, sorry, no, under the church. Yeah, it's just there's loose masonry, so you can't get in, and it's such a shame. I know. So this is Old St. Peter's Kirk. Okay. Now I'm going to have to take a minute. Right, what I'll do is I'll walk up to the back so we can get some nice faraway pictures, and then I'll catch my breath, and then we'll take it from there. So you've got all the old burials here. See, it's funny, everywhere does slightly differently with their the way they bury and preserve the ground. So here we have a flight of steps with a gravestone at the top. Yeah. So yeah. Oops, sorry, pardon me. There we go. So I'm just going to take you up to the back, and then we'll turn round. Right. Just so you can see some of the detail on them. Absolutely beautiful. Right. Oh. Now, this is one of the finest religious buildings from the Middle Ages to survive in the north of Scotland. I'm coming to it, honestly, I'll let you see it in a second. It's dedicated to St. Peter, and it dates from at least 1125. At one time it was actually the principal church and county administration and it was administered by the Bishop of Caithness. So we're getting quite a good overall view of it here. Absolutely stunning. For a ruin to be that old. Now it became a scheduled monument in 1929, which is good. It was disused by about 1832, when the replacement church was built for the parish, St. Peter's and St. Anthony's. Knock on the door and see if anyone's at home. Jan, you're a bit twisted, eh? Now, it was built in a cruciform and in the pointed style, so you can see you've got the points at the top here. Now, in 1726, the record states, above the vault looking into the east end of the church is a session house, but by the permission of the Kirk of Session, it is used by the sheriff and magistrates for Thurso for a courthouse and prison. Yeah, old church that's been here since dot, getting used as a prison and a courthouse. Aye. Now, above the dungeon, likewise allowed them, they built a steeple clock, and the structure, it's roofless today, and a lot of, the way that it's built is built with local rubble stone. So we've got Caithness flagstones, if you look at the way it's built, it's long flat pieces. So yeah. Now, complaints were made in 1786 regarding dung and rubbish being dumped on the graves. Yeah. As you go through the centuries, people's attitude to burials and things changes over time. Sorry, I'm stepping between the stones trying to get us over to the other side. There we are. Just so we can get a different angle, and then we'll go up and have a look at some of the closer. It's such a shame. Right. So if I go through this way, you should be able to see it. So you can see the end here. And then you can see the back of the window pointing the other way. So these are really beautiful windows. You know, for all the sort of stone tracery bits still to be there is amazing. Especially when we're this close to the sea. But yeah, I don't know if you can get that picture in. Hopefully that's working as a postcard. Right, oh, thank you for the tip, Stephanie, thank you. Right, now, let me see. So, if we look at the side, you can kind of see where things have changed over the centuries. So you can see where there's doorways that have been blocked up, just down here. So you can kind of read a little bit about the history of the building there. Now, I'm going to go round to the side. The last time I was here, it was quite difficult to let you see inside because it's closed. Hopefully I can stick the gimbal through and give you a little view of the inside. Seagulls are so noisy, or whatever kind of gulls they are. Whoop. Now, right, okay, so I'm just coming down the steps, just bear with me. I don't know if you can see it, but it says, there you go. So it's a scheduled monument and it's protected by law. And it's an offence to damage any of it. And you're not allowed to use metal detectors because we have a problem. Oh, thank you, Jana, Kelly. We have a problem with metal detectors coming in and digging up things before archaeology's been able to be done. Scotland has so many archaeological sites and places waiting that these people come in, and it's almost like they're stealing to order. You know, it's a shame. So yeah, just trying to let you see inside, but I can't. Oh, that's as far in as I can get you. Okay, but it's just to let you get an idea of the footprint on the inside of the building. Right. And you can see this stone is looking like it's needing some serious help with all the tape and the fact that it's covered up. So it must be quite unstable. Right. Now, some of the stone here is just wearing away with the weather. So this is very sandy stone, like sandstone, compared to the Caithness flagstones, which is that material there. So the sand, this was probably carved beautifully, but as you can see, it's just worn away. And here we can see there was an entrance that probably took you underneath. And as we just turn to go up the steps, you can see at either side of the entrance here, we have these little benches where you would be able to come in and sit, you know, like the porticos in a lot of churches that you see. So we're just going to head back out. Now this gate is very old metalwork. It's a shame that blue bag is there, but it's weighing it down, I think, to keep it open. But you can see how intricate it is, how lovely. You really hope that they're able to, you know, look after it. Oh, now I'm going to try. Right, I think the only way I can get that window in is if I turn the camera again. So I'm going to turn the gimbal. 3, 2, 1. Oh, hold on. Gimbal, what are you doing to me? What are you doing? Come on. Oh, please, stop being silly. Right, now let's do it properly. Yes, there we are, there we are. Okay, so I'm just going to hold it there for you so you can get a picture. Actually, if I go up a bit, there we go. Right. Oh, hello everyone. I'm here. Gimbal's just being a pain in the backside now. See, this is what happens. Gimbal goes in the huff because we don't talk to her nicely. Close your eyes while I turn around again. There, we're back to the right way up. Oh, gimbal. Oh, thank you for that, Gail. Right, so yeah, I'm just going to finish by taking us down to the sort of the harbour bit where you can see the sea, just so you can get your bearings, and we might be able to see Hoy, we might not. But yeah, it's it really is a beautiful ruin. And the thing is, you know, people just don't realise it's there. Artistic shots of the sky and up my nose, and yeah. Oh God, you know, technology is fantastic till it goes wrong. And then you don't know what to do. It's like, how do I sort this? But the gimbals, sometimes they have a mind of their own. And they just tend to do what they like. But to be fair, this one's lasted quite a while. My gimbals, because I'm in Scotland, they tend to get battered by the wind and drowned by the rain, and they don't like either. Great nostrils. Oh my God. Oh dear. Anyway. Sorry, what's the age of the there's been a church there since at least 1125. So the 1100s, there was work done in the 1200s as well. Yeah, so it's got good age to it, and then forward in time, it also had a little bit of work done as well. So most buildings really are generally not all of one period. Some are, but when it's something important like that, it's had work done. Right, so, I can see waves, I can hear waves. Right, we're nearly there. I love the sign, beware, your car could fall off. It's mad. Right. So there we're actually getting a better view of the castle now. So you can see the ruins. This is a baby compared to the church. So this is late 1800s, whereas the church is 1100s. Right, we're nearly there. Hi everyone that's just joined. We're actually coming right towards the end. I've actually overrun, but to be honest, most people that have been on my tours before realise it's a chance you take. I try hard, but sometimes I just don't manage. So yes, so the harbour's at the mouth of the River Thurso, and the harbour was founded more than a 1,000 years ago. So this area has been in use for at least 1,000 years. So yeah, right. Okay, what way do I want to go? I think I'm going to go right to the end where the green light is. I think that's the better option. Oh, I'm getting looked at by a dog. He's gorgeous. Oops. Right, we're nearly there. Sorry about the breathing, it's just, it's still very warm, and trying to get up that hill to the church was enough to do it to me. It's just the COVID. It'll be better soon. There's worse things to be addicted to, definitely. Yeah. Right. So we're not going to be able to see Hoy because the cloud is so low. But we'll get to the end and I'll do a little sort of panorama thing for you. Now, remember, tomorrow I'm doing Castle Sinclair, which is a beautiful ruin on a cliff edge, at 8 o'clock, so the same time as this. And remember, there's a couple of interruptions in the signal there, but it's worth it to see the castle. And then the next day at 9 o'clock, so an hour later, I'm doing Dunnet Head. So that's the lighthouse, great views. You can hear the waves, you can hear the birds. We might see some birds, nesting birds anyway. So yeah. Right. Oh. So I'm going to take my time going over this because, as you can see, it's not flat. It's very bumpy. But I want to let you see. There's the sun. I just need to keep you out of direct. She's behind a cloud, it's okay. There we are. Isn't this gorgeous? There. And we're looking back towards the town. Now, what is that sea called? It's the North Sea, and you've also got the Pentland Firth just round a bit. I'm not sure where one ends and one starts, but it's the big sea that it all goes into is the North Sea. We're on the North Sea side of the country. When we're over in Oban, if you've been to Oban with me, that's the Atlantic over on that side, but obviously Oban's on a bay, and then there's some islands to get past, and then you're at the sea. But the Pentland Firth is just, it's a horror to cross. Now, I'm going to let you look down at the water, just so you can kind of see all the stonework underneath. And then we've got all these breakers, or whatever you call them, the rocks. Funnily enough, I've never actually tried the seafood here, and I'll tell you why. I generally, when I come here, it's because thank you, Beatrice, it's because I'm having to do Orkney, or we're doing the North Coast 500, and I get really travel sick, seasick like you wouldn't believe, and I live on an island, so it's kind of embarrassing. So I generally don't eat anything that might. I know it's really clear. I'm just going to show you here because we've got rock, but we've got sand and seaweed just down here. So usually what happens is whenever I'm doing, my clients just have a giggle. And to be fair, the Pentland Firth, to cross that to get to Orkney, so Hoy would be ahead of us here and Orkney's behind it. To get across to Orkney, the Pentland Firth is one of the worst crossings. It's the only ferry I know that can always has its sick buckets out. I mean, they never put them away. They're always at the end of the seating rows. Anyway, that's enough of that. The UK is a large island. Scotland is, we're basically on a large island, but we have hundreds of islands around us as well, and we've got lots of water and things to cross, so it really, for me not to be able to take crossing on a boat is just silly. No, I don't live in Orkney, it's just I sometimes have to take tours to Orkney, so that's usually why I'm up here, because I'm having to do that. And I get seasick. It's part of life. Other people are really lucky and they can handle it, but not me. I'm just a wimp. Right. All right. I've really gone over my time. I'm so sorry. Sorry, the clock's just telling me that's 47 minutes. So I'm 17 minutes over. Really sorry about that, everyone. Right. Any questions before I let you go? Yeah. See, it's funny how we do, but the Pentland Firth, it will literally be sky, sea, sky, sea, sky, sea as you're going, and it's just, awful. But, it's all part of the fun. Anyway, right, I'm going to let you go because, like I say, I've really overshot my end time, and hopefully I will see some of you tomorrow at Castle Sinclair and maybe Dunnet Head as well, if you can. Okay? Right, bye everyone, thank you. Thanks everyone that joined me, and thanks everyone that gave me a tip, I really appreciate it. Bye.